All right, so today we are going to be talking about one of the most useful tools in your arsenal, the Facebook ad. How are you going to make money? How are you going to scale? What are you going to do to bring your business online? All right, so the first thing that we're going to address on this video is Facebook campaign structure. A lot of people don't realize it starts at the top. How do you structure your campaigns? And it all starts with, who are you marketing to? Right? And a lot of times when you're looking at marketing on Facebook, people don't realize these people, they don't know you, they don't like you, and they don't trust you. So you have to set up your campaigns in a way that is conducive of that information and leads to turning them very slowly, incrementally, and intentionally into a buyer, into a lead, into a call. And so that is the first thing we're going to talk about today. The next thing to look at when you are structuring your campaigns after you have engagement campaigns set up and you have warmed up your audience is to look at conversion campaigns or lead campaigns. Depending on what your focus is, you can create something conducive of what you do. What I recommend is conversion campaigns if you have your pixels set up. Now, this is not a beginner video. If you need to know what a pixel is and how to operate, I recommend going through Facebook's blueprint. It is a free training and by far the best free training that you can get that actually talks about from the people that put it out there, and it's their platform to get a basic understanding of Facebook. Once you have that, you can come back and we can talk more about how to structure your campaigns. But the next thing that I would look at once you've warmed up your audience is conversion campaigns. Understand that along your funnel or along your website, you have pixels set up along each step. You have it when they hit your website, you know when people view it, you know when people opt in or they fill out a form or they book a call or they have a sale or they add to cart. You have pixels set up that signify each step of the sales cycle. And with that in mind, your process to slowly warm up these audiences is setting up campaigns that are in line with that. So once you've warmed up an audience, then you can retarget with a link click or a conversion campaign for them to, let's say, the next step after them viewing your website. It could be them filling out an application, could be them booking a call. Depending on how much data you have, you then decide which conversion type that you want to use, or if you want to use a link click campaign. It is now time to structure at a basic level. If you are just getting started, this is what you need to know and how you need to structure. The next thing to consider is targeting. Once you're building these campaigns, who are you actually reaching out to? The best thing, the most effective almost across the board, if you have the opportunity, is setting up lookalike audiences. If you have an email list of the past customers that you have interacted with, take that, give that to Facebook, create a lookalike audience, and that will give you the best chance of creating an audience that will be inclined to your product or service, because Facebook takes that entire list and they try to create something similar to it. That's the first place you want to look. Other than that, when it comes to targeting, where is your audience? Who do they follow? What are they interested in? This is all basics, but if you really think about it and you've done the proper audience research, you've crafted your offer, you understand where and who you are targeting, then you are going to be able to get your audience cultivated around who you know is going to be the best buyer, who they follow, what they're interested in, and you start there when it comes to targeting. Ideally, your best case scenario is a lookalike audience from people that have liked you before or that have bought from you before or have interacted with you before, starting there and then creating audiences to test against. This isn't an end-all be-all definitive saying that lookalike audiences perform the best, but that oftentimes gives you the best chance of reaching out to who you want to reach out to. Now we're gonna deep dive and probably make videos on each of these steps, or each of the things that you need to look at when creating a Facebook ad. But as a rough overview, the next thing that we're gonna look at is your creative, whether it's photos or videos. The most important thing that you have to consider, even if you're warming up your audience, is what is your intention? Now, let's say we're targeting or we're focusing on conversion campaigns. You really have two options. You can create a video or you can put out a photo, but the most important thing to realize with photos is you have to pull them out of their timeline. The two pieces of data that you're going to be looking at for your ads are cost per click, CTRs, and then you can also look at your impressions, your CPN, your cost per impressions, because that's going to be an indicator if your ads are fatiguing. But if you're looking at creative and you're looking at photos, you need photos that pull them out of their timelines. Some of even what we've been working on that works really well for us is even taking a photo and turning it upside down, pointing an arrow towards yourself, finding a photo that really just stands out and might be bizarre or weird, but it pulls them out of the timeline and gets them to read your creative, get them to read your copy. If you're doing a video, is it intentionally creating a subconscious bias towards you? This is the first point of contact for you, for your brand, and you need to be intentional with it before they hit your funnel, before they go to your website. Have you established the subconscious biases, and is the video selling like you would as a first point of contact? Everything about creative and everything about copy when it comes to, or rather just the creative, whether it's photo or videos, has to be very intentional towards the result that you are trying to create. The next thing that we're gonna talk about is your copy. Very typically, we're gonna talk in generalities. You either are going to be creating ads with long form copy or short form copy. Both work. A common misconception when writing long form copy is people say no one will take the time to read it. When I talk about long form copy, I mean paragraphs on paragraphs in your body copy of your Facebook ad that very incrementally, very intentionally, from the headline to the bottom is catching their attention, building pain, building curiosity, talking about ideal outcomes, establishing social proof. You can even talk about testimonials or things that build authority. If you intentionally build from line to line to line, the intention of the headline of the ad is to pull them to the next line. The intention of the actual body copy, line by line, is just to get them to read to the end and then take action with you. You can build authority through your copy. If you're doing short form, then you just need to be intentional. You have to be effective. If it's 2-3 lines or 2-3 sentences, even if it's one sentence, does it actually have this emotional impact on your audience that pulls them out of the timeline? Everything that I see with my clients when they begin to work with us is their copy just doesn't have the intention behind it with their end customer in mind. Assuming you've done the customer research like we talk about on this channel excessively and you've created an offer, you're gonna know what to talk about. You know what your hook is. You know what sets you apart. You know what their pain points are, and you can talk about it in your copy. Whether it is video copy or not, whether it's short form or long form, you need to be intentional with the copy that is on these ads, line by line, whether it's short form or long form, to have the desired intention in mind. And in the end, you're trying to get a high CTR. So of the people that see it, that you know are qualified, they're clicking through the ad, and you have to have a low CPC. Because if you can get the lower CPC, you can get twice or even 3 times as many people to your funnel, to your website, which gives you a better chance of being profitable and creating an online business or an online lead stream or revenue stream that actually can scale. And these are the things that you need to realize. If you're not intentional about your copy, then that target audience that we just talked about is not going to be interested. They're not going to click through. You're going to spend way too much money for the traffic, and you're going to end up losing money and not being profitable. Keep all of these things in mind when you are looking about building your copy for your ads. Now, I want to dive into something for a quick second, and that's the headline. The headline, along with your video and photo, is going to be what pulls people out of the timeline and identifies them specifically with your ad, which obviously gets your traffic. If they read and they like your ad, they're going to go to your website. They're going to go to your funnel. They're going to take action. So more than anything, if you look at your headline, does it in some way call out either a pain point or directly call out your ideal client to where they know that this ad is specific to them? If it's a pain point, they need to read that headline and be like, yeah, I've thought that before. Or, yeah, no, this is something that's been bothering me for a long time. You have to look at your headline and make sure that specifically in the mind of your ideal audience that will potentially be visiting your site, that they read that headline and they say, wow, this actually really applies to me. It interests me, it aggravates a pain point, and so I'm gonna either read the body copy or I'm gonna click through straight to the funnel. It's really important that you spend the attention with the headline, and these are some of the first things you're gonna test when optimizing your Facebook ad, because if it doesn't catch that attention, like I mentioned before, high CPCs, low CTRs, and you spend way too much money for traffic and you're not gonna be profitable. The final thing that I wanna talk about when it comes to your Facebook ad is data. Understanding your data, understanding the metrics, understanding what you need to optimize and when, and how to test is going to be really important. So I'm going to share some best practices. One, like I mentioned before, the data points that you really want to look at and focus on just at a simplistic level are your cost per click and your click-through rate. Now, when going to test against any kind of ad that you have running, because don't get me wrong, if you put a Facebook ad up there, the most important thing you're going to be doing, especially if this is your first time and you're looking to scale, is test. So incrementally looking at, if we're talking about a Facebook ad, the first things that you're going to start testing are your headlines, your creative, whatever it looks like. You want to be sure that once you have established some kind of control, right, some kind of proven ad, that you have the numbers that you want. Set your target KPIs. Let's say you want a cost per click under $1.50, under $2. Make sure you're hitting that. If you're not hitting that, test another headline against what is already winning, right? Your best performing ad. Test other body copies, test different creative, but you have to know what's your winner. You have to know what's winning. And the only way that you can do that is by consistently testing. Looking at your data and seeing if your cost per click goes down and your CTRs go up. Also looking at your cost per impressions as well, your CPMs, but we'll talk about that in another video. The main things, especially if you're starting off, CPC, CTR, and incrementally testing your headline, your body copy, and your creative to see how you can get those data metrics down. This is just talking about Facebook ads. Once you have your Facebook ads dialed in, you're gonna start optimizing your funnel or your website on the back end, but without focusing on the data on your ad side first, you can never improve. This is the first place that you look. All right, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscription button down below, click the notification bell. It shows us we're on the right path. Every single bit of the content on this channel is intentionally tailored for you and creating results, starting at the beginning, building the foundation, and then creating content that will be more advanced for those that are trying to reach the upper levels, the 7 to 8 figures in revenue through online. But starting with that, leave a comment down below for the content that you want to see next. We listen to the comments, we respond to the comments, and we pay attention to what you want to see so we can tailor our content to you and creating success for you. Other than that, leave a like. It shows us that we are on the right path, that what we are teaching is helping. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video.